Okay, and we're back with the Cap 232 build. Where we last left off at, this is part 2 by the way, where we last left off at is the horizontal fin, which is all dry now and put in. Next step is going to be the stabilizer, installing the stabilizer and elevator. First off, what you need to do is right in here is a slotted area where you have to cut it out with your X-Acto knife, which I've already done on this side to kind of give you an idea and show you. You have to cut that out. And after I've cut that out, I like to use my heating iron and heat that spot up and get it good sticky there again, so that way it doesn't want to peel back on you. And sometimes you might have to get that to actually fit right, you might have to get and sand in this little area right here just a hair, which this here looks like everything's pretty smooth. Sometimes to get in that area, what I use is some sandpaper, whatever grit you'd like to use, and put it on a popsicle stick. Glue it on a popsicle stick, that way you can actually get into the cracks and crevices a lot easier to sand. So what I'm going to go ahead and do is cut off this other side over here, get it slotted out. Sometimes what I like to do to make that a little bit easier is make sure you change your X-Acto knife blade, because it'll make it a lot easier, cut better. Sometimes I'll heat this side up that I'm going to cut with my heating iron just for like 2 seconds just to get it nice and warm, because the blade seems to cut through it a lot better, than the paper will stick there better too. So let me go ahead and do that, and then I'll get back to you guys. Okay, we've gotten that sliced out, cut up, and then like I said, I used a heating iron to make sure that the pieces and areas stayed down and flat in the area, and then the rear of the tail. Alright, next step. As you can see, I have the elevator and stabilizer in place of the plane. Now we're going to mount those. Right now they're just dry fitted, so this is so I can show you. How I do this is I have a clothing tape measure. It's real flexible. I take a T-pin, and I T-pin the top center of the plane, and with my clothing tape measure here. Then what I do is I will hold this tightly, which is really hard to do showing on camera, and I will run each tip end of the tip of the stabilizer here on both sides until they're even. The number's exactly even. You want that straight so it'll fly straight, not want to fly crooked and like crap. And then you want to take a tape measure, which I forgot, or a ruler that I forgot to grab, but anyways, you'll take a ruler and you'll run from this point to the plane to the end of the stabilizer. You want both of them sides to be exactly the same length or width wise. And then like I said, you periodically always want to double check running your tape this way from each point. And once you think you have it centered, you think you got it good, you've checked it once, twice, 3 times if need be, I take my tape or my pencil here and I mark and run a line through here on both sides of the plane. Then, since it's been dry fitted, I pull this back out. And then that's when you're going to want, where your lines are at, when they're made, which on here, of course, they're not made yet because I haven't done it yet. But once they're made, you want to cut back the paper inside the line. Make sure you stay inside the line. Cut back the paper on both sides of this plane. There's some planes you don't cut back the paper on both sides, but on this one, you want to cut back the paper on both sides of your plane, so you might even want to draw a line on the bottom of this side too. Once you've done that, and like I said again, you want to use your 30-minute epoxy, mix it up in a cup, spread it out on your balsa, on your bare balsa wood where there's no paper, slide it back into the fuselage, which you have your lines, which will get you close measurements. And of course, like I say always, make sure you double check your measurements on both ends, on both sides. do that, and then of course just let it sit for the 30 minutes. I always like to wait like 35 minutes, that way I know for sure that it's cured. And so I'm going to go ahead and do that step, and I'll be back with you. Okay, just to give you an idea here, I went ahead and I got mine dry fitted. I made my measurements. I don't know if you guys can see it, but see the pencil lines there? Both sides. Then you can see that I've cut back paper so I can, so the epoxy can sit in there and actually get a good wood-to-wood glue. Just kind of thought I'd show you guys that and give you an idea. Alright, I'll be back and we'll see you in a minute. Okay, we have the rear stabilizer installed. It's been cured, set good. So now the next thing we have to do is the elevator, which it's just like the wing. You want to make sure you have all your stuff set in the same direction, and then slide it in place and CA it just like I did on the wings. Alright, so let me go ahead and do that, and I'll be right back. Okay, now we have the elevator installed, operatable. Great. Then we're going to move on to the next step, which I am going to go ahead and install the landing gear, the front landing gear. First off is I'm going to put the wheels, go ahead and mount the wheels on the landing gear, which these are the wheels that come with it, which are way just ridiculously too small. So, putting them aside, I may use them for something else someday. I have some 2-inch wheels that I'm going to go ahead and put on this landing gear. And it came off of another plane. So I'm going to go ahead and put them on. We're going to mount that right in here, which I've already cut paper back because I could not find the holes. It was really a pain in the butt. So I went ahead and cut some paper back, found my holes, which the landing gear is going to cover that up anyways. You're not even going to see where the paper's been cut back. So we're at that stage now, so let me go ahead and get the landing gear set up here, get the wheels put on, and I'll see you guys here in a bit. Okay, we're back, and the wheels landing gear is on. What I would recommend, which I forgot to mention, when you go to put these screws in, I would use a little Loctite to help lock those in place. But otherwise it went together very easily. I'm very satisfied. It's actually looking pretty good. Alright, we're going to move on to putting the tail wheel in. Now, they recommend you to use this and bend it. Poke a hole in here, screw it in, blah, 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 whatnot, with this on, and then it basically holds it on like that. I am not going to do that. I am going to take the tail wheel and bend the end at a 90-degree angle, drill a hole in here into the rudder, slide that in, and epoxy it or CA it or whichever works better for you. And you may want to cut into here just a little bit, make a line, which I'll show you guys when I get to that point, but I'm definitely not using the metal bracket idea. I think that's dumb. It's going to make the plane look like crap. And I'm kind of a looks type person. I like looks. So this here, I am not using. And I'm going to go ahead and bend the 90-degree angle of this. Take my hand drill a small hole in here to where the 90-degree angle bend will actually slide into the tail fin, their tail rudder, which will still give me my rear steering for the tail dragger and all that stuff. So let me go ahead and get started on that, then I will show you as I go. Okay, we have the tail wheel section in. See how much neater that looks without having a metal bracket wrapped around here. This gives it a lot cleaner, better look. And all I've done was take my hand drill and I drilled a hole right in here in this area where I made my bend, and the bend will actually slide in. And then where my hole was at, as you can see, the rod's actually inside the wood, which I have taken my X-Acto knife from that point and cut a line straight down, and then kind of chisel it out just a little bit to where my rod will actually sink into place. So when you're seeing it from an angle, you're not seeing a rod on either side. It makes it look cleaner and neater, and you know, neatness and cleanness on a plane looks, to me, it looks a lot better. So the next step we're going to do is we have to install the the rudder into this vertical stabilizer, and that'll be the next step. We'll see how she turns out. And so far, so good. Okay, we have the rudder installed. It's been C8 into place. The tail wheel, all nice and flush, looks real nice, clean. No metal, thank God. Alright. Well, this has been build part 2 of the Cat 232. Remember to please subscribe at the top left corner of the page to see the rest of my build videos of this Cat 232 and many more planes to come. Thank you very much. Have a good one.